What's up, people? I'm Shaggy, the Opinionated Hippie, and this is part 5 of my reviewing and ranking Can's live albums. I've already done the 4 that they've recently released and what looks like it's going to be an ongoing archival concert release series. This is the sort of first massive archival release, which came out 20 plus years ago, back in 1999, called Can Live Music, parentheses, live 1971 through 77, though there's nothing from 71 on here, so yeah. But yeah, so it is 9 tracks, 2 discs, about 2 hours long. You get, you got the 4 standard members: Suzuki, Caroli, Liebezit, the drummer, Schmidt. Suzuki's on vocals on 2 songs, and then Roscoe Gee is on bass for the 77 stuff only, which I believe is only 1 track. 2 tracks, actually. 2 of the more low-key breather tracks on here. But yeah, this is a fantastic album, or a fantastic release. I think with any, or as we're finding out with all Can live releases, the sound quality leaves desiring to be had. These are not professional recordings. I know recently they asked fans to, if you have recordings of us that you bootlegged or anything, send them to us. We will try to clean them up and release them, which is where these recent releases are coming from. That's probably where this stuff comes from, is they found a bunch of bootlegs, some cassettes that people had, and they tried to clean them up, and this is what came out. 2 of the tracks have been released on Brighton, the Live in Brighton release that was one of their recent releases. On those releases, everything's just numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in German, because they didn't really play songs. They played improvisations, and sometimes songs showed up. They don't do that here, but 2 of the songs on here, Dizzy Dizzy and Vernal Equinox, are from the Brighton show, and I believe it's track 3 and track 4, slightly shortened versions of those longer tracks. The longer tracks being the ones that were released recently. But you're only missing like a minute or 2 on each. It's not that much. This is all fantastic stuff. You get what you would call 4 straight up improv tracks. One is the opening Jinx, which starts off heavy, industrial, kind of weird, kind of just aggressive. It is not a, hey, let's ease you into this experience. Let's just bombard you from the beginning with the poor sound quality, the noises, the red, all of that stuff. Eventually, it goes into like a sort of very aggressive, upbeat funk type groove. This goes on for like 16.5 minutes, this whole jam. We get like a really nice funk groove around 8.5 minutes into it. About halfway through, we get this like chaotic meltdown that jumps up into this more like skittish, kind of frantic upbeat jam. At some point, all of a sudden, we just put the brakes on it, and then things get weird space jazz funkier before we get like a really nice, awesome ending. Everything on here is really dynamic and all over the place. But that's the first of the improvisational jams, is the opening track. And it's a little bit of everything over the course of 16 minutes. The 4th song is also improv. It's called Fizz, and it's very much a breather song after the Vernal Equinox chaos. It has a breather quality about it. We're like, hey, we're just gonna relax for a little while. But it's like I still enjoy Fizz. Like my wife and I have one of those things that you can carbonate your water because we like fizz in our water, but it also relaxes us. So the Fizz, about 6.5 minutes, which seems really short. It's kind of just this nice low key, slowly build in, just kind of a really nice keyboard atmosphere, just kind of a breather. You get a 37.5 minute improv piece called Colchester Finale, which opens up disc 2 and very much feels like disc 1 is the first part of the set. Colchester Finale is the end of the set, a 37-minute end. And then the final 2 tracks on disc 2 feel like almost encore numbers. But the Colchester Finale starts heavy, kind of like Vernal Equinox earlier, very drummy attack, very chaotic. Couple minutes in, we settle into this nice groove. Couple moments throughout the 37 minutes, right around 8.5 minutes, again around 19.5 minutes. There are some very definite sort of shifts in direction where things kind of maybe break down or slow down for not too long. We're not going to like a 4 or 5 minute Grateful Dead space section. We're just kind of breaking things down and then maybe just heading off pretty aggressively in another direction. And this goes on for about the first 23 minutes of Colchester Finale. We got a couple different grooves, a couple different breakdowns. Caroli's leading at some point. The jam that's around after 10 minutes on for about the next 8 or 9 minutes is a very krautrock feel. Your more stereotypical, just riding a groove type jam, but it's still very chaotic and very kind of all over the place. But at 23 minutes, that's when all of a sudden we get the do-do-do-do-do-do, and we're into Hallelujah pretty much for the last 15 minutes. We get some really nice Hallelujah, just that we're just playing with that rhythm. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Suzuki's coming in. He's in and out of this track, always bringing energy, but Suzuki's coming in, singing the lyrics. We get some Hallelujah. We get a really nice sort of double peaked Hallelujah jam where the middle jam kind of peaks and it feels like it's the culmination of the song, but then we go back into Hallelujah and then that peaks again at the actual culmination of the song. 37 minutes of just brilliance. But that's called Colchester Finale. It's not really a song, even though they definitely play Hallelujah. And then the next song, Katakong, K-A-T-A, is also kind of a simmer down piece, but more like an encore simmer down piece where like Colchester Finale was the end of the main set. They leave the stage, they come back, and they kind of ease us in with Katakong, kind of build us back up into some, like what will be the final song of the night, which would be Spoon. So anyways, in between those improv things, you get Jinx improv, then you get Dizzy Dizzy, which was on Brighton, just awesome Dizzy Dizzy, really good upbeat jam. You get the Vernal Equinox jam, which is absolutely crazy, chaotic, right at the 3-minute mark. And that's really cool, the way they kind of starts off very aggressive and then they kind of eventually just work their way into that vernal equinox. Just absolutely magical. Then you get Fizz. Then you get a You Do Right, a 15-minute You Do Right. And this You Do Right is like, if the You Do Right, the original studio version, is them in their beginning days when they're kind of young and fresh and energetic, this is like a You Do Right. It's from 75. That feels like it's seen some things. It feels like it's a little bit grizzled. And it's definitely You Do Right, like you recognize the song, but it seems like this one's been places, and this one has stories to tell, and maybe this has a little bit of vengeance to seek. It's kind of a darker, not evil, but just grizzled, experienced. It's like this is a different band playing this You Do Right than any band that would have played it, 5 or 6 years earlier. There's a different vibe to this. Yeah, and it's good. I like it. It's really neat. That's the 5th song on disc 1, and the disc 1 closes out with Cascade Waltz. This version's better than the studio version, or at least the version that's on the album is. I don't like it. It's weird though. It almost feels surrealistic to have all of a sudden this like waltz come in, and it just feels like what did I write? I felt it felt like it's like you have a really, really good, complex, complicated meal with lots of different flavors, right? That's what you get in the first part of the CD. Jinx, improvisational chaos, great Dizzy Dizzy jam, great hectic Vernal Equinox jam, Fizz kinds of brings you down, You Do Right, experienced grizzled veterans coming back and just disturbing your mind. And then you get Cascade Waltz, which feels like, okay, it's dessert. We're going to give you this, but it's like yogurt, which, okay, yogurt's good. I like yogurt, but I just had this incredibly complicated meal and you're just giving me yogurt. And yeah, maybe if I dig deep down, there's a little bit of fruit down at the bottom, but it's still just kind of yogurt. It's a weird ending to the first CD. I don't know. It's weird. It feels like I understand it. It fits perfectly. It is kind of a breather, but on the same sense, it feels a little like, we needed a little more. That's disc 1. Disc 2 is that 37-minute Colchester Finale that goes into Hallelujah. That's just fantastic. Then you get that Katakong kind of build back up. And then you get Spoon, a very different recording. The audience is like right there in you, and it's a little bit harsher and brasher, and you can tell there's a change in like year from 75 to venue to 72 and all that stuff. It's like the most drastic audio change on it. Um, and but it's a crazy spoon, just an aggressive spoon, a driving spoon, a propulsive spoon. It's spoon. 15 minutes of awesome spoon. Probably one of the most brash sounding of them. The Colchester finale also at times has some sound issues, but in a lot of these, it's almost like when things get crazy and chaotic and maybe the levels are getting to red and things are bleeding and it's just like, it almost seems like if Can had the choice to create that sound quality live, sometimes they would, because it adds to sort of the just like disorienting nature of it. And in defense of the poor sound quality, the nature of their jams sometimes lends itself to the disorienting sound quality of the disorienting experience of the lesser sound quality. At least that's the way I take it at this point. But yeah, this is a fantastic release. Literally. Only thing you need to set aside is qualms over not having the greatest sound. They did what they did with what they had, and it needed to be released. Where would I rank this among all the others? I would put it, I have it in number 2, right behind the most recent release, which might be there for, it's only been out, what, 5 weeks now? Paris at the time I'm making this video, 6 weeks? Maybe a little longer. Recency bias, but I'm going to say because of the 2 repeats, which are on the Brighton at number 4, and because of Cascade Waltz, which is weird, and maybe because of the sound quality. The sound quality in Paris, I think, is the best of them all so far. But yeah, I would put it in number 2, though they're both absolutely fantastic, and this is ridiculously fantastic also. And yeah, recency bias, and I reserve the right to switch those at some point in time. But if you haven't heard Live in Paris, it's stupid ridiculous, as is this, as is all of these. Cuxhaven is kind of an EP. It's like less than 30 minutes long. So anyways, yeah, great stuff. All right, but that's all I got. Yeah, go check this out. Czech Can is friggin' amazing. Awesome, awesome. The greatest jam band, improv band ever. Hands down. Yeah. All right. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, share, comment, do all those things, and go listen to Can. Peace. Talk to you later.